Right, so continuing with one of my own sets, GX25 from Pama. Pama being a wholesaler at the time, could still be in business, but if they are, it's doing mobile phone accessories. I did visit their premises when they were based at a large Victorian house where every room was offices and storage and so on. But they did move to a modern factory unit. And then they seemed to stop doing CB stuff. We've probably had this on the shelf about 10 or 14 years. I'm going to open it up first, just to make sure there's nothing dodgy going on. I'm not familiar with the model. Might have covered it before. Might be like something else. It's a 2781 set, so it's not one of the later ones. So unsmolder the speaker. So it's that C5121. So it's going to start off on channel 9. So we'll work through this and play it, guess the preset. That crystal filter, is that a reference crystal for the IF? Don't know, it could be either. It's got a full length power lead on it. And for once it's thicker wire than is necessary. I'll switch the power supply on. I've only got 10 minutes, so we're not going to be here long doing this. Switch it on. Of course it starts on channel 9. And tell you what, we'll plug into extension speaker. If only we knew which one was which. So, don't like the way the serial number plate's missing. You start to think that it's nicked. Probably not going to do anything anyway with that. I think that's PA. Is it Cybernet standard? Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Very quiet. Let's go to the other socket. Switch back to CB. That's not quiet. Testing 1 2. Oh, must be in the right socket. Okay. Right. Let's go to the sheet of paper. I'm going to switch picture in picture on, and we will connect up to the test equipment. To be honest, it looks a nice set inside. You know, it doesn't look like it's been messed with. It doesn't look as it's mega burnt out or anything. Quite sure why that coil's stretched. We'll find out later. So pop it on channel 20. It's just an up down really. It's not. It looks like a rotary channel selector, but it's really up down. Have we got high low power? Is this thing just doing tiny power? Right, it's doing 2.5 watts. Let's go for a wander up the channels. Channel 40, doing 2.4 watts. It's probably doing 2.5. It's doing 2.7 there. That's normal enough. Not so. It must be coming to the end of 2781. Where this was no longer a requirement to have low power, which is a shame. It's a feature I really enjoyed having. 720 milliamps. See if there's any deviation. Wow, it says it's 3.5. Take that with a pinch of salt. The test gear's been on for several hours, so whatever it says is going to be the case. So, like, we'll look at the frequency. And that will be the frequency, and that's 27,79076. So we'll do that right away. That must have been quite low when it was first on, and let's hope it's adjustable, because at the end of the day it's a cheap set. It is. Not going to go though, is it? Well, it is, you know. What take? I'll leave it at 29 because it'll drop with age. So I was going the wrong way, but it was going upwards. There must have been dirt on the ceramic trimmer capacitor. 2779129. So now we'll set the signal generator also to 2779129. Do. And let's see what it's doing on receive. What is receiving? So let's put the instrument speaker in instead of the PA speaker mounted on the wall. So picture in pictures on, we're showing the cyanide meter. Tell you what, there's nothing wrong with that receive. There's our 12 dB, and it's 0.54. For 10 dB, it's 0.41. For 20 dB, if it does it, this is just down to noise really. It's 1.75. I've already checked RF gains up. Squelch check, so full squelch. Let's go over to the attenuator. So we're at 0.3 at the moment. I want it to open as 100, 1, 3, 10, 30, 100. It doesn't. 300. It never opens. Never. Oh, it opened. It does open at 100 millivolts. So a tenth of a volt. And then threshold. That's dirty once cleaning. Not very good at 1.5. Now part of that could be because of the noisy squelch. I'll put in, I just said 1.5 microvolts. We'll just about get away with that if that's all we can get. But does it have a meter at all? The answer is yes, it does. And on showing 2 for transmit, and on receive, put S9 on as 100 microvolts. It's showing S9. Not sure how many lights are behind that. It's probably made to look like there's more steps in the bar graph than there really are. Right, so far so good. So let's see if we've got time to just run through the transmitter and see whether we can get more than 2.5 watts out of it. So our transmitter's running in this direction. We're on the centre of the peak. .8. What's happened with this? Let's just see. It's the part of the way it's tuned, is it? It's not coil stretching for coil stretching's sake. It's 3 watts at that. I don't expect for a moment there's a power preset. I'll tell you what, we'll pause it at that point. I'll do what I need to do. I'll come back to it just in case we've got a circuit diagram, because they would have issued one. There would have been one available to us as dealers at the time, and it's just possible I've got one on file. Otherwise, we'll just have to wade our way through. If you think that we've got to have presets for, it's going to have a real RF meter. It's not going to be pretend on this. So chances are it's that one. We're going to have squelch. We're going to have a S meter, so that's probably those two. We're going to have deviation, and you'd expect that to be down here somewhere, but there's nothing down there, but there's something there. I mean, that could be deviation. So I can't see any extra presets, shall we say. At the end of the day, this is a cheap radio. Yeah, I've got the right number of presets. Right, I'll see you in a bit. So I don't have any instruction books or any circuit diagrams, so that's it. So let's see if I'm right about that being the meter. So key it up. I'll put my trimming tool in there, ready. I am right. 1, 2, 3. It's actually only got 4 bars. So although it looks like there's 12, there's 4. So although you may think it's disingenuous to make it say 4 when it's actually doing 3.2, right, let's check the other channels. Hopefully they're within 0.1. So 3.3. Channel 40. Well, it's brought it up half a watt, hasn't it? Current consumption, channel 20. (823 milliamps). So we'll do deviation right at the end because I'll need to use the test set behind me. Right, let's do the receiver. So we'll go over to the cyanide meter. Oh no, we won't. We'll go to the oscilloscope, which I'll switch on. With 100 microvolts on the signal generator, so it's an S9 equivalent signal, and this is clearly the detector because there's the FM chip. So turn the volume until we've got sufficient trace. It was already spot on as it was. Right, turn the signal generator down till we get about 5 or 6 dB on the cyanide meter. Will do. And then we'll go through the front end, which will be these. Oh, an improvement. Turn down the signal generator. Another improvement. Turn down the signal generator. Might have to turn it up for these, for the IFs. Yeah. That's there. That's there. Let's turn these down. I can't see a change on there. Turn it up. I've got a dirty unless it's a dry joint. Very slight adjustment there. Right, let's get a new cyanide reading then. So for 12 dB, got 0.35. Well, that was worth doing. 0.27. And for 20 dB, it's hardly changed, 1.65. So that's down to noise, which will be from cheap parts. The squelch, I no doubt will need adjusting, so I'll turn the squelch to full. Oh, I've got to remember to spray that as well. So 10, 30, 100. So it's still doing exactly as it was before. We've got to guess the squelch preset, so we know that's RF. So it's going to be, of course this is the FM receiver, chances are it's got a built-in squelch, so therefore one of these is going to be S meter and one of these is going to be squelch. So let's go for this one, and whilst I'm doing that I can look at the S meter as well, and if that alters, it's a funny size preset that. It's a funny size preset that nothing fits. Maybe a actual screwdriver. That is squelch. There we go. So it's just opened as 100 microvolts, which is what I want. I'll show you the attenuator so you see what I'm doing. So we've got 100 there, we've got 30 there, over to 100. Right, now we'll turn the squelch down, and hopefully we'll have a much better threshold reading. Take the signal generator to standby. That's squelch on threshold. No, that's still no good. I need an applicator, which I don't have on this bench. I think we can get some service on in there without the applicator. Right, let's try again. I've got 1.2. It's not nice. It's not good, that. I would have thought coming down from 100 millivolts to 100 microvolts would have made a massive difference, but it's not good. It's where you're going to start having to mess about with the squelch. And did you hear me? Right, so that's that done. So we're now going to know that that's going to be the S meter. So we'll put S9 back on the signal generator of 100 microvolts, and it's generously showing plus 30. This is a different preset again. That is the right preset. I'm just turning it so it just extinguished the plus 30. So now when I increase my signal on the signal generator, it'll go into plus 30. So you've only got 4 bars. See, there's our first 3, next 3, next 3, and final 3. So it looks more impressive, but you know, it's one of these mugs eyefuls, isn't it? Not sure why you want a noise blanket on an FM set. That's usually synonymous with AM. Right, we're actually done. Just got the deviation to sort out. And whatever's causing the drive joint is probably the socket needs cleaning on its inner or springing out a bit. Right, I'll plug this in behind me. Change glasses so I can actually see what I'm doing. See what the deviation is. Wow! Actually, it's a bit low, it's 2. But it's one of those that goes a long way across and then stabilises. So deviation is going to be that one. Wallow. Drop lots of fraction. Wallow. It's not the same now. Start again. Wallow. That'll do. So it's actually low at 2 as a peak. I think we've got a radio here that's never been farted with, and that's fantastic. One final thing on the transmitter. See whether we can improve the difference from one channel to another. I'll put this on channel 40. No. I'll just check the placement of these. Go to channel 20. Still the same. So let's see if we can just spring this up a bit. I'm going to use 2 screws. I can't get to grips with it, so we'll just use 2. That one to hold it straight. Hey, we're finally in. Great, that should be fine now. Right, so it's got a dry joint, so deal with that. And then this capacitor needs tagging back on. Right, let's just check transmit one final time. Yep, still the same. Good, that should be a nice solid performer now. Right, we'll get the speaker connected. I think I've spent as long trying to straighten out that sprained aerial socket than the rest of the set. Next question, which screws were they? Are they self-tappers? Are they machine screws? Yeah, they're self-tappers. Turn the volume down. So as ever, you know, as I've said before, we look at this as doing 3 watts. It's 3.2. It's nothing to really worry about because I'm using an industrial test set rather than one aimed at hobby use, and it reads the actual power on the band was selected, whereas most meters will read the interference as well. So it's always going to read lower on this type of meter, which is the whole idea. It's the kind of thing the government inspectors would use, so there we go. And it works on its internal speaker. Right, we'll unplug the aerial. That was nice and tight as I did that. Switch the test gear off, put the squelch on, plug in the roof aerial, which is an Antron 99 without a ground plane kit. Single story building, broadside into a concrete tiled roof. Good, we're done. I'll flick round. Right, we'll park it on 31. Does that channel 9 switch work? It does. There we go. So that's another set which has been on the shelf for 10 years done. So thank you for watching the Pama GX29. I can't say I've seen this chassis in anything else, but you know, some of you may be more experienced on sets from this era than I am. Thanks for watching.